Welcome to Board Game Animal. My name is Justin. This video is going to be a little bit different, just a little bit more informal, because I want to take a few minutes and talk about last weekend. Two really exciting things happened. We attended all 3 days of PAX Unplugged, and we hit 1,000 subscribers, which is an absolutely huge achievement for us. It really blows me away that we were able to achieve this, and I feel a real sense of forward progress that I haven't felt before, and I deeply appreciate all the support that helped get us here. I wanted to give a huge shout out to all the people who watch, all the viewers, all the publishers, the designers, other folks in the board game community who have and continue to support us. It really means so much, and I can't even begin to express it. And on that note of community, we were able to attend PAX Unplugged, like I said, and also a decent chunk of the indie games night market. Which leads me in a whole different direction of thanks, because first I'd like to thank Bitewing Games for giving us the opportunity to work with them. It was such a great experience being able to help talk about, teach, and promote some of my favorite games out there. Working at their booth was phenomenal. And then at the Indie Games Night Market, a huge thanks to all the folks who made us feel welcome and included behind the scenes. As you know, we were able to do the preview video ahead of time, and then there in person just felt so warmly welcomed. It was a real treat. Which, again, is a whole bunch of thanks, because I want to thank Daniel Newman for helping us put together that video and making that possible in the first place, and all the designers at the Indie Games Night Market who made us feel included in order to make that video possible, but the ones that we've befriended along the way as well. And a huge thanks to Marceline for her support in regards to Lefty and that whole situation. I'm beyond words with really all of this. Another big thing for me at PAX was the number of people who just randomly stopped me to say that they enjoyed watching the channel, or specifically the Indie Games Night Market video, and that it made a difference for them and it helped them plan their PAX. And it was a really surreal thing to have those kind of conversations for people I didn't know to walk up and say anything about Board Game Animal. It really, really meant a lot. Like I've said in videos in the past, if we can help anybody, even one person, discover a game, then mission accomplished. So to see that live and firsthand was just really surreal and wonderful. So the fact that any one of our videos can make a difference for someone or be memorable, that is just the best feeling, and people's kindness, again, really blew me away. And outside of getting to work with Bitewing and meet up with the folks at the Indie Games Night Market, I was able to connect with a lot of publishers and designers and talk about things that we may do in the future. And some were very generous to provide review copies of games, and the support for the channel is just incredibly appreciated overall. Kid Kanitzia also got to visit PAX, got to interact with some publishers, and as he put it, got to meet some of his fans. And I have a deep appreciation for the folks who supported him and encouraged him and made him feel special. Those are some memories he's not going to forget. Now, speaking of games and review copies, I'd be remiss with not talking a little bit about our PAX haul. We were able to pick up quite a few really cool games. I was able to meet the designers of so many of them, including Rowdy Partners from Capstone Games, and get to play the game with one of the designers, and we won, so that was an incredible experience. Peppered here are some of the games that we were able to pick up at the convention, but I wanted to take a moment to just talk about a select few, because we've been playing games like Crazy Sense Packs, and I have a few first impressions that I really wanted to share. First off, I wanted to talk briefly about both Torchlit and Pinatas, which are two trick-taking games from Allplay, one being a game that I missed out on in the indie scene, which is Torchlit, and Pinatas, which is a new version of Knizia's Voodoo Prince, and kind of related to Marshmallow Test. Bottom line, both of these are fantastic trick-takers in their own right for very, very different reasons. All of the games that I'm going to talk about here are ones that I will be talking about more very shortly down the road, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. But the basic gist is, if you like the idea of exploring a dungeon and creating scoring opportunities while playing a trick-taking game, one with some of the most incredible artwork I've seen in ages in games, then Torchlit is one for you to check out. And if you want a really cool, clean, mathy trick-taking game that, again, has just the most incredible humorous artwork, where you're trying to do the best you can, but don't do it too fast, but don't do it too late, a little bit of time management with trick-taking, Pinatas is a great pick for you as well. Enthrone from Smirk and Dagger was our #1 most anticipated game of the year. How does it hold up? Well, it holds up really, really well. I'm not sure if it's going to be my favorite game of 2025, but I think if you really enjoy two-player games or abstract strategy games in general, this one, with its elements of deduction, is a really cool twist on the genre, and it looks incredible. The pieces, while at the end of the day maybe wholly unnecessary, are also the exact thing that draw you visually to the game. It looks incredible on the table. It is really, really quick to play and has a lot of replayability because it's one of those that once you get going, how fast the games can play, you're going to want to run it back pretty quickly. So we'll be talking more about Enthrone later, but I highly, highly recommend it. If you like two-player games, if you like a little bit of that tug-of-war, deduction-y stuff, this is a great one for you. Fantasmic from Button Shy is another profound example of just the massive amount of game that Button Shy can fit into one little wallet-sized package. The one common thread across all of my favorite games, despite the fact that there's a huge disparity in genre, size, and scale of game, is the common thread that all of those games instantly create a strong dynamic and meta around the table amongst the folks playing. And I think Fantasmic does an amazing job at this. It took a play or two for us to get into the groove of it, but once you do, there is such a tense but playful energy that happens amongst the players trying to figure out will they, won't they, as far as how the cards are going to be manipulated, what cards they have, and it manages, again, to distill a lot of really, really cool card manipulation and bluffing elements into just such a tiny package. I can't wait to play the expansion for this one and continue to try this one out with more people. I think if you like bluffing, if you like really interesting and dynamic metas forming around with the players, this is one that you should also check out. The Fellowship of the Ring Trick Taker is, I believe, our most played game of 2025, so it's needless to say that I was very, very excited for the Two Towers, the sequel and follow-up to the Fellowship of the Ring Trick Taking game. It was so hotly anticipated for us, and so far it is delivering. I was especially curious if it could keep the momentum going, and to say it does is an understatement. We already played it a bit, and I can't wait to finish through all the chapters. It's just incredible stuff. If you like trick-taking, if you like cooperative games, or maybe if you don't like both, this game still may absolutely strike gold for you. With the Two Towers, I like the twists from the first game. It's not the exact same thing. There's some differences in the deck and how the cards work, and already some really interesting interplay amongst the various asymmetric character powers. I don't really want to spoil best of 2025 lists or anything of that nature, but with these two games now combined, it is a remarkable experience that I really can't compare many other game experiences this year to. So again, if you like any of the aforementioned factors, you really do need to check out the Two Towers game as soon as you get an opportunity. And finally, I want to talk about Pacts from DVC. Not PAX, but Pacts, which was not an accident, and I'm proud of myself for initially noticing that. Pacts from DVC is an area control game that is driven through an I split you choose mechanism, which I've said before is, in my opinion, one of the most underserved mechanisms in the hobby. I love it. And its utilization here to basically deliver what feels to me like a massive Eric Lang level area control game on a tiny little fabric board in a fraction of the amount of time, all with a really interesting hook of I split you choose to drive what decisions you're getting to make, how you are going to spread out your control, all with really cool asymmetric powers that are not overwhelming to learn or deal with or remember. And everything looks really elegant and really beautiful with the artwork and just the graphic design in general. I think PAX is, ironically, the sleeper hit of PAX. And if you haven't had an opportunity to pick this one up, this is one of the biggest surprises for me. And I think it was really impactful. You really should look into it if you are able to. It falls in that category for me of, oh, it looked neat, I was interested in it, and then played it and was blown away. So I think PAX is one to look out for. And those are, again, just some of the games we were able to pick up. We'll be talking a lot more about others down the road. I also will be doing a sequel video of sorts to our Indie Games Night Market video because we had the opportunity to pick up some games we hadn't had a chance to play beforehand. And so near the end of the month, I will be doing a part 2 to our Indie Games video where I get to review and talk about some of the games that I wasn't able to in the first one. Now, circling back around just for a moment to the 1,000 subscribers thing, I want to give a final thank you to everyone who helped us get to this milestone. Again, it is absolutely huge. I want to give a huge thanks to Leader Games, and a certain person in particular, you know who you are, for being the first publisher or person in the industry to reach out to us in the first place, right when we started, to express that they enjoyed something we'd made. And in retrospect, it really wasn't even that great at all. But we were just starting out, and that little bit of encouragement, that support, gave me the motivation to keep going, and now we've been able to achieve so much, so I am permanently and sincerely grateful for that. I want to thank all of the Knizia fans out there, all of the designers and fans in the indie games scene, and all of you who are just here for the cute animals, and I promise I will get them in more videos. We will keep going and having fun as long as you're here to have some fun with us. Thank you so much for watching, liking, and subscribing in the meantime, and don't forget to always play board games like an animal.
For a walk?